How's it going, everybody? My name is P. Brett. Welcome back to another video. I had four people try and scam me last night, or maybe it was one person trying to scam me from four different accounts. But either way, I put my room up. I'm trying to get someone to sublease my room for me, so I put it up on my Facebook Marketplace. And this whole process has been a pain because I put it up. I've been like spamming ads to Facebook Market, or not spamming, but like every other weekend I'll put an ad up, hoping that somebody will reach out, somebody will express interest. I've actually had a bunch of people reach out, but the problem is like they tell me they're interested, and then they text a couple more times, and then I tell them it's still available, and then I just never hear from them again. But this was my first time encountering scammers, so at least I don't know. I guess at least that made things a little more interesting. So what happened was I caught on after the first one because they were all like copy and pasting messages. But basically, one account reached out telling me they were interested, and they wanted my phone number because they wanted to call me. And I was like, I can't take a call right now, but if you want to text me, here's my number. And then they said, okay, yeah, I also sent you a code. I'm hoping that you can send that back to me so I can make sure that you're real. I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then I get a Google verification code on my phone, and I'm like, hell no. I don't know what they were trying to do with that, but I don't want to find out. And they only made themselves much more suspicious by like immediately following up after they sent the code. They were like, "Hello, did you get it? Can you send it?" I did have one person actually express interest though, and it seems like they might actually want to take the sublease, which is great. The whole reason I'm in this situation in the first place is because my friend asked me if I wanted to move in with him a week after I re-signed my lease. And I mean, I could just stay here, but I mean, he needs somebody to live with. I'd like to live with him, and I would like to move around. I don't know. I kind of don't really like staying in one place for too long, so I think change is good. But the scammers may have caught me off guard if I hadn't been well rested, if I hadn't taken a nap. Naps are probably every college athlete's favorite pastime, or at least swimmers. I'm not sure about all athletes because I know I hear that like a lot of the other athletes who go here, like they have weights in the morning and then like an hour long or so practice in the afternoon, and they dare to call that a double. They dare to say they had two practices in one day. Weights is not a practice. Calling weights a practice is like eating a singular egg and calling that a meal. Anyways, I don't want to throw shade to the other athletes, but I'm going to anyways because it's fun. For us, when we're in like the thick of winter training, we will swim for at least 2 hours in the morning, and then we'll lift for probably like an hour and a half. We'll go home, we'll nap, we'll come back, and we'll swim for like another 2 hours in the evening. So if you total that all together, that's like 5.5 to 6 hours of training in one day. So during a schedule like that, naps become pretty necessary. And if you really factor that in, if you factor in like a 2 hour nap along with all that training, it really does become like a full time job. I often think of swimming as a full time job because it's kind of like, I mean, that's the parallel to like a job for someone else. Like swimming is to me as a job is to like another student. I mean, it kind of plays the same role. It's what I do with my day, and it helps me to pay for college. So yeah, naps are kind of a necessary part of the job. And I've actually been taking less naps lately because I've been pretty good over the past couple weeks about getting to bed earlier than I have been. For a long time, for like several months, I was getting to bed at like 11 every night, and now I've been trying to get that down to like 10:15. And so I've been taking less naps during the day, and I've had a lot more time during the day because of that, which has been nice. But yeah, I've been trying to clean up some of the messier details of my life to optimize productivity and happiness, I guess. But I have taken many naps in my time as a college athlete, which that's one of the nice things about being in college is like I have yet to have had a semester where I have more than two classes on any given day. And that's an hour and 40 minutes a class. And I mean, most of those days I also have like two practices and I got to eat and all that. So it's like, it's still a fairly busy day, but you can definitely squeak in some naps here and there. The same could not be said for high school because high school, I look back on that and it's like, it's kind of crazy how busy high school was, especially my sophomore year, because after that, I mean, middle of my junior year, that's kind of when COVID started. But my sophomore year, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'd wake up at 4:20 in the morning. I'd go to morning practice, come home, eat breakfast, go straight to school for 8 hours, then go back to practice, and then I'd come back home and finish off the day. It was crazy busy. And the problem with that was I didn't really have time for naps then, and that was probably when they were most necessary. However, I did have many unintentional naps throughout high school. There were very many times when I would slowly drift away in class, and there were a number of classes where I kind of sat like in the front because on like day one of class I was like one of the later students to walk in or whatever. So like the only seats that were remaining were in the front. So I was stuck sitting there for the year, and I had a habit of drifting off in class. And anyone who knows me, anyone who knows me well and has like slept in like a hotel room or something with me knows that I am not a light sleeper. One time I remember I was on the ride home from a swim meet with my mom, and she was driving, and I was in the passenger seat taking a nap. And in the middle of the drive, I like spazzed awake and slapped her in the face while she was driving, which was not one of my brighter moments as her son. So, anyways, what would happen in class is I would start to drift off in my seat in like the front of the class, and then about 2 minutes into my nap, I would just spaz awake and kick the crap out of my desk and jump up and make this huge scene in the front of the class. I guess most people would be like embarrassed about that, but I don't know. I kind of just look back on it. I just think it's really funny. That actually happened very often. I think a lot of my classmates came to know me. I heard from one of my friends that apparently people started calling me Narcolepsy Peter, which is pretty funny because I was not the most social kid in high school. So I think most people literally just knew me as like the guy who falls asleep in class. And I think the funnier detail is that most of them probably had no idea that I was waking up at 4 a.m. They had no idea why. They just knew I was this tired boy. Luckily, naps are much more achievable in college than they ever were in high school. I have one of my friends, one of my teammates, had this phase this past fall where he had a couple days of the week where he didn't have like class at all. So he'd get home from morning practice and he would just take a 7 hour nap, just a full night of sleep in the middle of the day. I think my personal record is about 4.5 hours. Right now, I'm kind of in the rhythm of every Saturday I get home from, or I don't get home from morning practice. We go straight to breakfast, and I get a 3,500 calorie breakfast, and then after that, I don't need lunch. So I just go home and I take a 3 hour nap. It's pretty awesome. Those are pretty legendary naps. The best naps are when like I wake up and it takes like a full minute for me to even realize where I am or what's going on. Sometimes I wake up from like a 20-minute nap with my face in like a pool of just drool all over my pillow, and I have no idea what's going on. Those are the naps that I live for. I probably should have taken a nap today, but I forewent the opportunity of taking a nap to just kind of play some Minecraft. I came up with a couple of video ideas too, so I guess it was kind of productive if you call that productive. But yeah, it was a hard day. This is week 4 of lift, which is the week that we go pretty heavy in the weight room. So my highlight of my lift this morning was I cleaned 185 pounds, which is that matches my PR. So I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, I got back from afternoon practice and dinner not too long ago, so I'm getting pretty tired now. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. Hope you all enjoyed hearing about my long-term addiction to the pillow. I'm going to try and keep these weekly, so hopefully when I say this, I will stay true to it. But I will see you all next weekend.